through them one by one. We'll just start with the first one, which is the perceiver, which is prophecy motivated. And prophecy motivated people they say what they think. They declare the truth. Everything is right or wrong, black and white. There's no gray area or very little gray area in their lives. They're very much quality control. So there are a lot of positives to prophecy-motivated people. They see right to the heart of an issue. They are motivated to reveal what is true. They are concerned with revealing the other person's motives. And they boldly operate in spiritual principles. They are frank and outspoken. They have strong opinions, and all of those things are good. Some of the trouble that you can have, or negative things that you can have if you're prophecy motivated, is it's hard to keep silent when they feel the truth is being twisted or hidden or offended. They usually lack tact sometimes. They need to learn to speak the truth in love. They need to know when to speak and the proper channels of who to speak to. So that's some of the negative things when you have issues there. Number two is being serving motivated. So they are motivated by meeting the physical needs of others, helps ministries in all different areas, ushers, feeds the hungry, sets up the stage. They have the do something attitude towards everything. And so there's a lot of positives to serving motivated people. They can see what needs to be done. They're detail oriented. They have a good memory. They need to feel appreciated. It's hard. They have a hard time saying no to things when they're asked to help out. And they tend to do more than ask. So we love serving motivated people. They say that that 80% of the body of Christ is serving and mercy motivated. So the biggest portion is weighted on those two things more than anything else. Some of the negatives on a serving motivated person could be their motives are often misunderstood, trying to be seen or showing off sometimes. Weaknesses are they're easily offended if you don't show them appreciation. They take care for others. They look down at some people who don't see the physical needs, so they might judge people who don't see the physical needs that may be motivated a different way. And the third one is teaching motivated, the teacher. The teacher researches the facts, the history, new ideas, details. They impart instruction, communicate knowledge. And so some positives about teaching motivated is they are motivated to validate truth, and they want to know why, how, when, where, facts, details, and they want all the facts and details in the right order. They have a select circle of friends. They're very self-disciplined, and they're very emotionally self-controlled. Some of the negatives that can happen with teaching motivated people is sometimes they can be boring. Sometimes they have to tell you the why they're qualified to do what they do. So they place a lot of importance on degrees and academics. If they don't feel that you are qualified, sometimes they won't listen to you. Much detail, more information than you could ever use. And so sometimes they are easily offended and critical. The exhortation one is number 4. So they're motivated. They take care of the spiritual needs of others. They build up and edify and stimulate and head up the pep rally. They want everybody to feel great about that. So positive things about the exhortation motivation is that they're motivated to be on top of any situation. They're not easily discouraged. They want a visible response when teaching or speaking to other people. They focus on working with people. They love to do personal counseling. They accept people the way they are without judging them. Some of the negatives to exhortation is they often won't let you grieve and often lack empathy. Sometimes they have the attitude of they can have the attitude of mind over matter, decision. When you make a decision, let's run with it, and they kind of skip the process of that. And so that's some of the negatives that can happen, and we'll talk about kind of how we're bent towards that. Number 5 is giving. They're gifted to make money, and money is their friend. They love to give It excites them. They may not even have a lot of money, but they give carefully what they have. The giver is motivated to make money and to give money, loves to give money without people knowing it. They are happy to give to meet the needs of other people. They have a strong belief in tithing and giving. They want to get the best value for their money. It matters where their money is going. So those are all great things. Some of the negatives to a giving motivated person, if used wrongly, is that the motivation to make money and handle money properly opens the door for hoarding and being stingy. This is a classic example of being Scrooge, or they give everything away and don't take care of themselves. So it could be one extreme or the other. Either they're stingy and frugal and then don't want to quite let go of it until they build the value in everything that they do, or they give everything away and they don't keep anything to take care of themselves. The giver is offended if you don't listen to their financial advice. Debt offends them, or any lack of financial planning that would they don't like that. So number 6 is administration. So if your gift is administration, they see the bigger picture in the situation. They delegate quickly. If there's a vacuum of leadership, they're going to take over. They'll take it. Let's do this and let's handle it. The administrator is great at making an almost instant evaluation of a problem and assigning steps of action to solve the problem. They're great to delegate to other people and to give other people assignments. And they're fully capable of making adjustments as they go along. They love working on goals and projects. Some negative things about an administrator is they could be controlling or manipulative, even dominate other people if not used right. They sometimes don't verbalize their appreciation for other people. They expect you to do your job, and that's what we expect you to do. So roll with it. We have to serve one another, submit to one another, and won't listen to your input, so it won't let you finish your point. They think they already know what you're going to say, so they jump to conclusions and sometimes interrupt you. And so that's some of the negative things. Number 7, and this is the last one, is mercy-motivated people. They're focused on the emotional needs of others. They're full of compassion and love and mercy and very forgiving. And can't we all just get along? That's their motto in life. And so mercy-motivated people are very compassionate. They're empathetic. They're loyal. They're forgiving. They're always looking for the good in other people. They're attracted to other people who are hurting. If somebody is hurting, I'm attracted to that person. I must help them. I must let them cry on my shoulder. All of those things are awesome about mercy-motivated people. They avoid conflict. They don't like confrontation or conflict. They want everybody to get along and everything to be fine. And they're ruled by their heart rather than their head. So that's all the great things about mercy-motivated people. Some of the negative things that can be slanted towards them is they're totally blind to the faults of another person that they're working with. They're offended if you hurt somebody's feelings, and they will take up other people's offenses. No motivational gift is better than any other one. Many parts, one body, they're all necessary. So they don't spend a lot of time analyzing other people. Learn to recognize the gifts and capitalize on them. They want everybody just to get along and everything to work great. And so some of those things that you knew, and some of them you kind of now that you hear what the descriptions of all of them, the positives and the negatives, and you can kind of start forming what is your spouse or your children or the people that you work with or your leader. Sometimes you can kind of see, oh, that's why maybe they're motivated like this, then that's why they come to these conclusions or act. And so we're going to read just a case scenario here for a minute, but none of us see the whole picture. We need to hear the perspectives of other people to gain wisdom and understanding about the situations we face. When we identify and understand our motivational gifts and the gifts around us, we're going to gain wisdom about the reactions of other people around us. The way that they react to something, we'll know why they do that when we're paying attention to that. And these insights are going to help a group work together for a common goal despite their differences. And especially with us working together on teams here at church, or you working within your family, it helps us to realize it helps us to work all together and understanding the differences that we have, and we can appreciate and learn from one another. So for instance, I'm going to read this case scenario and a couple different points of view where this is concerned. Let's suppose that at a church board meeting, someone proposed to give $1,000 to a missionary. One person expressed frustration. Another person immediately and enthusiastically voiced his approval of the proposal, and a third person responded with questions, which seemed to be unnecessary or inappropriate to many who were present. When each of these persons heard the request, he simply responded according to his unique perspective, his motivational gift. So the server's response, the serving motivated response is, the server, Mr. Jones, initially was frustrated by the thought of giving away $1,000 to someone who was not even a member of the church, because Mr. Jones had just spent 4 weekends in a row participating in a fundraiser for the youth group to raise $500 for a mission trip. His reaction of frustration was not a rejection of the needy missionary, nor the person that wanted to bless the missionary. Mr. Jones was thinking about the fact that none of the other board members present had been at any of those weekend fundraisers and wanted reassurance that they all realized what a costly decision it was. He knew how much time and effort and hard work the gift actually represented, because he had just invested a lot of his time and effort and hard labor to raise that amount of money. So Mr. Jones also wondered why none of them had shown up at the fundraiser car washes. Didn't they see the need, or was he the only one who was sensitive to the real needs? He is viewing the situation through the perspective of a server who is driven to demonstrate love by meeting practical needs, usually through tangible work, as opposed to explaining, teaching, discussing, giving, or organizing. The server's perspective for this, is that legitimate? Absolutely, because his perspective is not the only one that's important. It's important to see all perspectives. So let's talk about the next one. The giver's response. The giver in the group, Mr. Smith, immediately responded enthusiastically when the gift was proposed, and he had recently made 2 trips to the Congo where the missionary was serving the Lord, and Mr. Smith knew firsthand about the many critical needs there. Incidentally, Mr. Smith had financed both of those mission trips out of his own pocket, and as an expression of his love for God. The person with the motivational gift of giving is driven to conserve and share resources to meet other people's needs. Since Mr. Smith was already keenly aware of the missionary's needs, he rejoiced that the Lord was providing for those needs through the church and saw no need to evaluate or discuss it any further. So, valid? It's valid. It's a valid response. So, the organizer or the administration response. Mr. Adams, who has the motivational gift of organizing or administrating, responded to the proposal by asking questions, lots of them. An administrator is driven to carry out projects by recruiting workers, organizing tasks, or delegating responsibilities. He doesn't usually do the job, but he sees that the job gets done. It was true that Mr. Adams hadn't shown up at any of the car washes. However, what Mr. Jones didn't know that was Mr. Adams who had come up with the idea in the first place. He had contacted the local gas station to request permission for their church members to conduct a car wash there. He had also organized the work schedule of the donation of all the necessary supplies, such as soap and sponges. Mr. Adams asked a lot of questions because he was seeing the need from a perspective of his motivational gift, which was administration. So even though they respond differently, all the perspectives are new. We have to learn to appreciate each of the responses. Christians perceive and respond to needs different from other people. So when we see these 3 men responded to the proposal very differently, all 3 of them were reflecting different aspects of the heart of God. All 3 responses were legitimate. All 3 perspectives were needed, as were the insights and cautions of those with the gift of prophecy, exhortation, mercy, and teaching. So when a believer uses his gift to evaluate the issue at hand, a full mind of Christ can be revealed about each situation. And here's what we need to look at and see is that when you are walking by the Spirit and not by the flesh, when you are spiritually mature and not leaning to spiritually being immature about things, then you're going to stay right in the to all of the positive things about your motivation, your motivational gift. So when you stay, the more that we strive to be mature Christians, then we're going to stay to the positives of our motivational gifts. It's when we get to be where we're not as mature, or if we are having an issue in one area more than others, then when we get to be immature in some of those areas, or we're acting immature in some of those areas, then you're going to see all of those negative things that we said about your motivational gift. That's what's going to come out. The motivation is the way that you're wired anyway. However, when we walk in the Spirit and not by the flesh, then we're going to stay with all of those positive things that you have as your motivational gift. And even staying at the positive things about all those motivational gifts, then it's going to help us to relate to each other when somebody else has a different gift from you. Even if we're staying in the positive things, then it's still sometimes difficult to get along with people that have other motivational gifts. You know what I mean? And so Romans 8:1 says, "There is therefore no condemnation in them which are in Christ Jesus, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit." And so when we do that, then we're making decisions based on walking in the Spirit. Then we're always going to stay to the positive side of that, and we're going to stay in that maturity. So when we work together using our gifts and appreciating the gifts of others, we can accomplish a lot for the kingdom of God. God has given the gifts to the church to equip us for service and to help us mature to be like Christ. And so some of us have the ones who are on the kind of the hard side of the gifts, which is prophecy motivated. Everything is black and white. Then when they come into contact sometimes with a mercy motivated person, the mercy motivated person wants to feel everything that they feel and talk through all of the issues that they're having, and it's all about how the person feels. And as opposed to somebody who's administrating can say, all right, we're going to make a list, we're going to delegate the task out to everyone. And then the serving motivated people are usually the ones that will say, all right, I'll do it, whatever I need to do. And they kind of pick it up and go with it. So it depends on how you're slanted or what your motivational gift is. So sometimes it's like if you have a boss or a leader, and they've given a task, or you're at an event and they have all these goals where they're doing it, and you see the boss or the leader standing back and not helping to do the chairs. If I said, okay, everybody here, when we get finished tonight, we're going to have to set up because there's a meeting going to be happening in the morning, and I need for, if all of you that were willing to stay, then I would like for you to help me pick up all the chairs. We're going to stack all these chairs so they can bring tables in. So those of you who are serving motivated, especially, you're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get it done. Now, if I'm standing back and just watching, then it's because I'm the administrator. I'm the one who is saying, okay, I need to make sure that I'm doing this. When you have somebody that's in a leadership role, or they're given directions and they're serving motivated, that can sometimes be crazy because they want to get in and do it too. And then when you're looking for your next instruction, you're looking for that person and they're actually doing the stuff and not standing back supervising and giving, all right, now that that's done, you guys go here and do this. You know what I mean? So sometimes that can be frustrating, and that's one thing that I'll pay attention to when I have my leaders take this test, is to see how high their serving is as opposed to them leading. Because it's not that most people who are leaders or team leaders here are high in administration, or high in exhortation, or high in teaching or prophecy, because they're kind of like, this is it, this is the way we're going to do it, or I'm going to organize it and this is it, or I can encourage my team and lift them up and everybody wants to be on that team. If you're an exhortation motivated person, and then you kind of look for that and see how they're wired. And so sometimes if you have somebody who is really high, who's willing to do it, I know this has happened a lot of times here, even on Sunday mornings, is you can have someone who is serving motivated on your team, and the leader thinks, and the leader's trying to develop another leader, and they think, wow, this person is fantastic. They do the checklist, they do everything great, and they're fantastic at this, so I'm going to try to raise them up to be a leader. Well, sometimes you have to be careful about that, because just because they do everything fantastic, sometimes they're not wired to be a leader and they don't want to be a leader. And it's okay not to try and force them in a spot. If you try to make that person a leader or put them in that spot, then they'll struggle with that, because you're trying to make them do something that doesn't fit. They just want to help out. They don't want to organize it all and stand back and watch you do it. You know what I mean? And so, and I'm not saying that that if you're serving motivated that you can't be a leader, because I definitely have had some team leaders who were serving motivated, but they knew that that was an area that they would have to work on and we would have to watch closely. And so that when I gave them, hey, we need to do this, these 5 things to get ready for this event, then their first reaction as a serving motivated person was to, okay, I can get that done, and they do it all themselves. And then they don't let let their team members help them. So then, they recognizing that and knowing that, okay, I'm going to want to do it all myself because I'm serving motivated, so I need to remember to let everybody else on the team help me to do that. And so you kind of just have to be aware of that. And you can also use this as far as your spouses or your children even, to kind of see how they're wired, especially the people that are closest to you. You want to know what their motivational gifts are, what they're strong in, more than others, so that you can know how to relate to them. Because I know that some of my leaders in the past have been very prophecy motivated. It's black and white. And I'm a embrace the gray person. There's all variations of gray. Gray's awesome. And so I have to understand that when I'm talking to them or relating to them, that I have to break it down, bottom line. That's what they want. They want the bottom line. Then if they want more details, then I'll go back and say, all right, this is what we're going to do, A, B, and C. Then they can go back and say, all right, well, why are you doing it this way instead of that way? Then if they want more details, I can go back and give them details. And then I used to have a boss who wanted all of the details, and they wanted me to tell them everything. And I'm more of a bottom line, pretty much, or try to be relatable to whoever it is that I'm serving or who my leader was. But that particular boss wanted me to give way more details. So then I would have to say, okay, they're going to want to know this and that and how I came to that position and what color it is and what size it is and the 4 variations of things that didn't work. They want to know all of that stuff. So I just learned to give them the information in the way that they ask it. So that way I knew what they wanted before I went in to meet with them or things like that. And it really helped the situation. And so the more that you get to know the motivational gifts of other people, then it helps to minimize the conflicts. Because the way that you're strong and the things that you're the strongest in, then you're going to lean to that because that's the way you're wired. That's kind of autopilot for you because that's just the way that you are. So if you are a mercy-motivated person and then you're high in mercy and you want to hear everybody's problems and love on them, then sometimes you can't understand why people are, why they want to, okay, it's X, Y, and Z. I'm 4% mercy. So I'm very compassionate, but I'm 4% mercy. So that, I think my highest one is, I think I'm teaching administrative giving is what mine is. So realizing that and understanding that the mercy-motivated people, it's very necessary to have them because they're the ones that make great counselors, the one that they want to, take care of somebody and to let them cry through their issues and to, to fill their needs and stuff like that. It's very needed. So that, God knew how to design that if most of the body of Christ, if 80% of the body of Christ is serving and mercy, He knows that most of that we need to be able to do and to take care of it and to be the heart of God and to be able to minister to the needs of the people. But it takes all of us working together, and all of our gifts have to fit together properly. When they start to conflict is when we start butting heads on it, is when we get over in that realm of where the negative things are coming out. And when you're not seeing eye to eye and you're not trying to work together, then a mercy-motivated person is totally blind to the faults of the people that they're working with, and they don't understand why everybody doesn't feel the way that they do. And then the prophecy-motivated person is, they usually lack tact. And so they're going to lash out at somebody and say something to hurt their feelings or something they didn't mean to. And, and then the servant is like, why is everybody not doing what I'm doing? Let's get all this stuff together and let's get it done. We've got all this stuff. We've been given a task, so let's do it. And then, so all of these things, when you don't fit them together properly, then you're going to err to the negative side. it depends on your emotional maturity, your spiritual maturity as to, do you let that bother you? Are you to the point that, and that's what we're trying to do in this whole class, in this track, is to get to the point of spiritual maturity so that you stay with the positive things, that the teacher, it has a select circle of friends, is the discipline, is emotionally self-controlled. They like the details and to be able to teach and to give you the information and to do that. And then if someone else is motivated differently, but they're immature and they stay in that realm of all of the negative things about their motive gift, are you spiritually mature to stay there instead of meeting them over in the negative side and taking off on your tangent of all the things that you could be bent towards on your negative side? Does that make sense? And so the more that you do that, the easier it's going to be, the more that we're going to be able to grow. Because there's sometimes that it's just because of circumstances or the time of day that we can get bent towards some of the negative aspects of our motivational gift. And sometimes it depends on, are we too tired? Do we get enough sleep? Do you have a little child pulling on you for like mommy too long? Or has it been like a stressful day at work because one day is more heavy than others for you? It could be, all of those things can come into play to cause you to move toward that negative side. So all of us have times that we have freak out moments, and it just depends on how quickly you can arrive back and get back on the positive side of the way that you're bent, to forgive quickly, to move back into what God's called you to do and how He's called you to work together with other people and how that fits together. And the faster that you do that, you realize that, then the easier it is. Because part of this being spiritually mature is also being emotionally mature, and so we should be able to do that quickly, to move into that maturity level. And I've used this example before, but if a toddler can be potty trained to hold it till they get to the bathroom and they're 3 years old, then we should be able to hold it, our tongues, and not mess our emotional or spiritual diaper. You know what I mean? We should be able to do that. I mean, if a 3-year-old can be body trained to hold it, then we should be able to do the same thing with our tongue, to watch our emotions, to hold it until we can say the right thing or respond correctly or to help. You know what I mean? And so the more that we do that, the easier it is for us to work together and to not let so many conflicts bother us by our motivational gift. You're wired the way that you are on purpose. So you don't let anybody put you down or put you out because you're wired that way. It's, it's good. That's the way God made you. You're that way on purpose. And if you lack in a certain area and you know that's your weakness and you want to gain in that, then you can work on those things. Everybody can work on weaknesses, but most of the time you're going to be wired the way that you are because that's the way that God made you, and it's okay. You just have to realize the weaknesses of that and realize the people that are close to you, the closest to you in life, are the ones that you usually conflict the most with because you have to be around them. Especially if you live in the same house, you can't go far. They live in the same house with you. So you should know what their motive gifts are so that you can work together.